Are we good, man? Usually when I record, I like to do it raw, like
Let's do it.
so
Straight through.
it's nothing.
Raw and uncut.
Yes, sir.
These people, man.
After the shooting and shit.
They're just shooting in our film.
Yeah, so I decided to pick a public place, more private, public, with a view.
All good.
I'm with my boy. What is your name again?
I am Daniel Peter, all social media.
Yes, sir. Where are you from? Like,
I'm
where do you come
originally from Ames, Iowa. Basically, a small town. Grew up. The city next to me basically had around 200 people, and then the city next to that one had around, like, let's say 45, 50,000. So
Damn, you grew up in a small town then.
I did.
And how old were you when you started to make music?
Well, I've been involved in music as long as I can remember. Realistically, my mother informed me of the stories because I can't remember them. But 2 years old, I started banging on pots and pans in the living room. Right. My dad, played as lead in the church, so he was always playing saxophone, harmonica, guitar, and I kind of just grew up, in the womb listening to music, and then outside of that, I guess I had my father's love in blood for music. So
Nice. You say he was in the. Was he part of a band or
he
he played?
was prior to meeting my mom. He was in a band called Willie and the Rockets. They toured the U.S., but also got to dine with Queen, Freddie Mercury, in them. So it's something that I take very dear to my heart that my father was able to accomplish such a feat, and more power to knowing that I'm in the right position. So
Nice. Another question: what song was the one that went viral and got you discovered?
it's a good question.
Hmm.
I basically got discovered off of cover videos. I used to sing, Neo, Justin Bieber, Chris Brown, and I kind of gained a following off of that more so than my own music. But after I was discovered on YouTube for the first time, I was able to work with certain people at the time, and I was able to come out with my first record, which did amass around 500,000 views on YouTube before the music video was pulled off. Um, Discrepancies with that company was some of the best, but yeah.
All right. What artists have you done collaborations with?
There's a few. GI Joe. Some people who aren't with us anymore. I've always been one that been very immersed in the urban community, just the people around me and associates that I've had. I've had records with AD, Sean Brown from Kidding's label. Um, I've done records for Silento, Kalani, Samantha J, you know, Bia, Lavi, a few people.
Oh my, so those are helpful, right? Uh,
Yeah. Disrespect.
yeah, we're just checking out here. We got a little traffic behind us, So, uh, another one. Probably a lot of people want to figure out this one. What is your music process like? Like, how do you find inspiration to make a song?
Very good question. So, as far as like my inspiration, it always forever changes. The world around us is so filled with just things to, just immerse yourself into, and some things that you might want to stay away from. It's all about the journey and the adventure that you have in your life, right?
Yeah.
For me, I don't like to write things that aren't real to my story. A lot of people, you know, say this and that, and grew up, with a Lambo and whatever.
Yeah.
And it's more so for me. I take the things that I've really discovered in my life, like my life path, is all about learning. Right? I'm a student of the game, always and forever.
Yep.
And inspiration comes from all around. So
Nice, nice, nice. How would you describe your musical style?
Um,
As in, do you have a unique sound, or do you find inspiration from other artists that you look up to?
yeah, I definitely see myself taking inspiration from a lot of artists that I grew up listening: Michael Jackson, Whitney Houston, Nat King Cole, even Temptations, New Edition, like just like older style music influences my sound a lot today in far as the R&B realm.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm like across R&B pop. I more so think of myself as an R&B artist because it's more soul coming from that. But yeah.
Nice, nice. Uh, what's your most recent project, or are you working on new music right now?
Good question. I do have a few projects that I am working on. Nothing has been fully solidified yet, but working with the people that I have, Final Level Music. I'll give a shout out Ice T's label, Hingy Garcia. Uh, I have so many records that I've written over the years. I released a project that was called, I think it was Obsession,
Okay.
um, and it was like 100 songs. I could be wrong. It could be Relation. That could be the title, but I'd have to check. Um, Long story short, there was 100 songs in there that have been from 2014 to 2023, right? 2024, and I don't want to hold on to music no more. I've written so many records. I feel like just the flow of music is infinite, and
Okay.
nobody feels that energy if it's not released. So
Okay.
um,
Getting off.
nothing in stone yet, though.
Okay. Getting a little bit off the topic. Let's ask you. What kind of hobbies would you say you have, or you do outside of music?
Yeah. So my hobbies kind of depend on exactly what I feel is going to nurture my soul. What's going to teach me more? Recently, my hobbies I've been into is coding, development, Lua, JavaScript, TypeScript. Um, I've basically been working, on cross engineering certain games as well as working on my own role playing world. Um,
Okay.
so
Can you talk more about that, or is it
yeah,
something
yeah,
that we got to
no,
wait a certain day so you can be like, hey, when this time is time, I'm gonna release this project that I'm working on, this thing that I've been holding on for so long, but here we go, we're going 100 with it.
yeah, 100%. Well, I'm 10 toes down in coding right now. I'll tell
Yes,
that.
sir. Yes, sir.
I'll say that. So basically, long story short, January 3rd, 2023, um, I had this idea to create kind of like a cyberpunk world that had like Need for Speed as well as Watchdog elements. I've always been infatuated with like sci-fi, and just the idea of a cyberpunk world because, well, USA doesn't really have it, but
Yeah.
Japan already does. China's infrastructure just there's so much more technology, right?
Yeah.
And I wanted to capitalize on what that could look like um, if I was, I guess, to be in charge of a visual process. But
Okay.
then a bunch of other people have come together, and it's been a community effort. It's been absolutely just humbling, to say the least.
Amazing.
Um,
Amazing. Yeah.
so, but
Another
but
one.
that's out right now. Version 2 dropped May 22nd,
Okay.
2025 today.
All right.
So
I'll post links once I get
yeah, no
plug
problem,
it in. So
no problem.
also, if you could go back in time, what advice would you give yourself as a musician?
I'll tell you one thing, and this. It's a harsh reality.
Yeah.
Everyone learns it a different way. Um, for me, I was signed at 13. I'm in the music industry,
Yeah.
right? Representation is everything. Um,
LA, right? You gotta love it.
yeah, I know, right? Represent them sirens, baby. Let's go.
Let's go.
All right. Anyways, uh, what was the question again?
If you could go back in time, what advice would you give yourself as a
Good,
musician?
good question. So, if I could come back in time, if I could go back in time
Yeah.
and give myself any amount of advice, it would be to watch the representation that you have.
Okay.
Um, it's one thing to be represented by people, but it's one thing to also represent yourself and to continuously keep moving forward as you. There's one thing my mentor says, and it's a harsh reality and it hurts, but
Yeah.
realistically, no one really gives a fuck.
Hmm.
Everyone is going through their own thing. So it's like, what can I give to the world to help them go through what they're going through, right? What what energy can I give that's going to be received in a
All
good
right.
light, right? So
That's amazing. That's amazing, man. And last but not least, let's finish up the video. It's gonna be a short video.
of course,
So, for upcoming artists, what advice would you give them?
I would say find your niche. Um, it's more so about how you feel, not about how others feel. Um, People are going to gravitate towards the music, uh, even if you're not a musician. People will gravitate towards the art that you create if there's some genuine sense of just genuine,
Yeah.
just a genuine feeling behind it. People gravitate towards people who can speak about the things that they can't, right?
Yeah.
Those are the things people are going through. That's why, Little Peep was such a huge staple in the, just the music industry. XXX Tentacion, they spoke on so many of the errors that people make in today's time that could put them on such a better path,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And I think we really need to worry about what's making us happy and if what we're doing is aligning with the purpose that we feel for ourselves, right? So,
Great. Uh, is there any other stuff you would like people to know about yourself, as in where Daniel Peter been?
well, the biggest thing I just want people to understand is I'm human. I'm living a life just like you.
Yeah.
We all have our differences, our situations in life that attribute to our losses and our gains, right? Whether it's emotional or even physical, right?
Yeah.
We all want to win for ourselves, right? So, what can you do to win for yourself?
Yep. Uh, what's your what's your thought on independent artists and record labels? You having the knowledge of being in part of a record label and by a known co-signer.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, pretty much, I'm asking like, um, what's something that they should look out for? Say when signing a deal, or what type of advice would you give a person that's trying to make it into the music industry right now?
So, biggest thing that I would say to anybody who's coming up and who hasn't solidified a catalog, this is how the industry works. If you present a body of work that's already done, already finished, and you present it, this is me, you are creating value for yourself. That is upping your value.
Yep.
Now, if a label comes and says, hey, we'll give you such and such because we see maybe you did a few songs or a cover song and we like, the way your movement is online. Never, never settle for what you're worth. And you yourself should know that. And if you don't, you may need to do some soul searching. So the biggest thing in the industry for me, you need to solidify your deal. If you don't have a body of work that you want to present to a label to be like, hey, this is what I got, they're cutting the deals, not you. They're going to be the ones saying, we own 70, 80, 90, 95%. As to, let's say, a artist like Russ, right?
Right.
Solidified his value, continuously dropped, banger after banger.
Yeah.
Eventually, I believe it was Columbia, or whatever record label at the time. I believe I'm right.
Yeah.
They took into consideration, we need this guy to write for us, or we need this guy to create the same buzz or create the same feeling that he created for himself for our other artists. This puts you in a category where now you have the eggs in your basket. No one else can tell you, oh, you're getting this for your deal, this, that. And if they do, whether you solidified your catalog or not,
Yeah.
or what you want to present, it's all up to you. They're gonna look at you like, what did they have?
God.
So what do you have?
What do you have
That's
to?
the question you have to ask yourself.
Mhm.
What do you have? And the other thing is, you cannot just settle. You can never just settle. You're always going to be working. If this is what you love to do as a musician, there's never a stop to it. Like,
Amazing.
so,
I had a question, just my personal question, pretty much.
of course.
It's just about doing songs for like Netflix, Disney, for the movies.
Commercial.
Getting licensed as a sync,
Commercial licensing. Yeah.
commercial license. Uh, is there anything that people should look out for, or
Just like what I said before,
yeah,
solidify the deal for yourself.
Okay.
Don't just take whatever they give you, right? That's where many people fail.
Yeah.
And another big thing in the industry for me, I was never the one to be like, here's the paper, who's getting what?
Yeah.
And granted, that's not the artist's responsibility. If you have like management and stuff like that, they're supposed to handle that. But let's say you don't, or let's just say you don't, right?
Yeah.
You don't have the cards to say, this is who represents me, right? When you go to somebody and say, this is my project, if you have someone to represent you, such as for me, Ice-T co-signing from Final Level Music, your value gets higher. So find people that you can grow with within the creator space, within, it may not even be music, right? TikToks, things like that. Follow the trends and find people within that market, right? And you may find yourself in a situation where, hey, here's a deal, and then you could be like, this is what I want out of the deal, right? As long as you build that for yourself, you're going to be in a way better position.
Yeah. All right. Just finalizing the video. Would you like to give any shout outs right here on social media, or anybody that's out there that's watching you right now and you're gonna share the video with? So
Yeah, no problem. I want to say a big shout out to the people that have been supporting me for years. This is the first interview in 2 years, so it's serious. Don't let no one ever take your shine away, right? There's too many people, too many distractions, just here to make you lose, or that want you to lose. Keep winning.
yes, sir.
That's it.
All right, plug yourself in. What's the social media?
I am Daniel Peter, all social media, and
We're good.